Welcome back to another video. I'm finally tackling my 2024 recap and 2025 overview, like setting that up. I feel like this is going to be a long video, but this is what we were working with in 2024, and I took the same planner. This is a Midori A5. I don't know what it is, but it came in a pack of 3. And then I took the same planner but then cut it down to size to fit a TN standard, cover. I just much prefer this size, I think. I don't think I needed this much space, but this may be a long video. For some reason, I thought it made sense to close out 2024 and start 2025 in the same video. So I have not read my letter to self. So that's one of the first things that I'm going to be doing. I'll be setting up my vision board in 2025. But the main things I'll be doing for this video is talking about my favorite books, printing them out, cutting them, sticking them in here. And then I won't be filling out the rest of this because I feel like that will take too long. And I might do that in a separate video if anyone cares. I don't think anyone cares, so I will skip that. But I think I had enough space for 96 books. So I read 127, so they won't all fit. So what I'll do is maybe I'll just choose my top 96 books because, some weren't great, some were very unserious books. So maybe I'll do that, and probably just off camera because I don't think that's going to be very interesting. There's a lot of blank pages in this planner that I am just leaving. I don't think I see maybe I have the details recorded. I've got my 5-year diary, I've got my daily log, the life archives. If I really wanted to, I could refer to all of those and fill out the highlights. But honestly, I just forgot about this page, which is what I'm going to work on this year, to remember to fill out the highlights as I go. The monthly overview, I think I did pretty well. I skipped, May and June, and September, but all in all, I did okay. So in this video, we're going to do the favorite top 9 books, like my favorite top 9 books of the year, and favorite new products. I think I will choose, I'm just trying to think how many fits. I think 8. I'm not even sure if I can come up with 8. And then actually, I was looking through some photos to prepare for this. And I think what I'm going to do is not just favorite new products, but just business, maybe highlights as well, because I did the Patreon postcards. I would like to include a photo of that. And I had a journaling workshop, which I think, fits in here as well. And then on this page, I've got it flagged down as 2024 highlights in pictures. So I think this side will be a little bit more personal and this will be the business side. That just gives me more room to include more photos. I actually was going to spread it over 2 pages, but I think I might just leave that blank. And I was supposed to write a letter to self as a reply to my initial letter, but I think I might just leave that blank as well. I think, the moment's kind of gone for me and I don't want to force myself to do it just because I said I would. So in this video, to start with, we're going to do favorite books, favorite business highlights of 2024, and then personal highlights. And I have just printed, this is mostly for the personal highlights. I've printed some photos. I kind of just guessed the size, but I don't think it's big enough. Maybe I will write a little bit underneath. I'm not going to cut it on camera to save you some time, but I'm going to chop this up with some editing magic. And then I will come back with everything cut and ready to paste in. And then I will ramble about everything. So I will see you in 1 second. All right, I am back. It's been 2 hours. I went to have lunch. I ended up cutting everything. It took longer than expected, but I am back with the things to glue in. I think let's start with favorite new products / business highlights. So first thing, it's not really in order of date, but I did choose the top 8 things that I think are my main kind of highlights for the year. So let me rearrange. I think it's based on this order. I said I wouldn't organize it by time, but I am indeed doing that. So first things first, we're just going to leave a little space to write a little caption underneath, but apart from that, we're just going to eyeball it. Let me bring my lamp a little closer. Just give a little fill light. Okay. So the very first thing, which seems kind of boring, but it's kind of significant for me because I packaged my seconds bundles in a new way, and I'm pretty proud of, oh, that was wonky. I'm pretty proud of how they turned out, so I just wanted to document that. I'm just going to try and eyeball this because I don't like measuring. As long as it's like straight-ish, I think that's okay. Okay, that's straight-ish. So those are my seconds bundles. I bought like craft lunch bags and made new, what do you call it, labels for them. Yeah, it took a really long time to pack, but I'm really proud of how that came out. I also separated it into minimal and illustrated categories. I don't know if that was a good idea, but I just liked being able to provide that option. Okay, and that is one of my journaling workshops from earlier this year. That is a pretty big win for me because I was terrified of running a journaling workshop, but it was one of my big goals. Like, not even just this year, it was just one of my big life goals. So that one was a very significant memory. I held two journaling workshops this year. Both of them were in Melbourne the day after each other. That's kind of straight, right? That's not too bad. And then in this photo, I designed an insert with Tiffany from Faded Chronicle, who is a longtime friend and patron. She wanted to design a planner together, basically. And so it's the first time I've ever created that kind of product because it's quite expensive to create a notebook all on your own. So that is my weekly insert planner, which I'm still very proud of and I have officially sold out of. The next highlight is this, I think there's a line, I didn't cut it properly, is these freebie prints. So this year I decided to finally try outsourcing some freebie prints because I love the idea of freebies, but like making freebie stickers takes up a lot of time and I'm not the strongest like illustrator. So I figured that prints are, they're kind of on brand for me and they're much easier and I get to dabble with like a simple minimal print. Like I did 2 different designs and one of them is just a quote, which is very much up my, oh God, how am I gonna, up my alley. I gotta try to align this. I think that's straight. The next one is, let's put that down here, PET tapes. So I designed and outsourced my own PET tapes for the very first time, which was extremely exciting and nerve-wracking because it was a lot of money. I was like, am I getting scammed? It's very scary to outsource because you don't know if it's going to sell. It's just a lot of money as well. Like I'm just so used to making things myself that it is a very big decision. But PET tapes, which thankfully did really, really well. I'm so grateful. And then the next highlight is my calendar cards because it's the second, oops, oh no, I've got some glue on. It's the second year that I've made these Herbie calendar cards because surprisingly they did really well last year. And like I sold them at markets and people that didn't even know my character, Herbie the bear, liked the calendar cards. So that was really surprising for me. And why is this so hard to use? So this year, because I had a lot of printing issues last year and cutting issues, and I was like, I can't do this again. And I really wanted just a bit better quality. So I decided to outsource this year. And that's part of the highlight, that not only am I doing calendar cards again this year, but I was able to outsource and still make a profit from it. That was really exciting and just saved so much time. I'm still very much in the process of, outsourcing some products to save myself some time, because I'm at the stage of my business now where I do need to reclaim a bit more time, so I have more time to that's upside down, to create rather than just hand make products. Because at the beginning of my journey, this gap is bigger. All I had was time, really, and no money. So, you get to the point in business where you got to make that decision whether or not you want to spend more money or spend the time that you have. So these are my business highlights of the year. Let me quickly, where's my pen? Let me write. Do I want to use black? Because everything else is black. Just a quick caption, basically what I said to you already. But I will do that under each photo. Okay, so I realized I forgot to mention this one. This is just a rubber stamp that I got made of it's not really my logo, but it's just a logo that I use, which is just Herbie's head and then some copy around the outside. But I outsourced that and I was just really happy with how it turned out. I actually just got that made with AliExpress. I just found AliExpress. I just found a random supplier in there. It came within the week, just in time for the market, and I was super happy with that. But those are my business highlights for 2024. This is really nice to see at a glance, and I was questioning this page. I was like, do I really want this? But I am glad. I know I'm going to look back and be like, oh, this was the year I started making freebie prints and PET tapes and outsource things for the first time. Very lovely memories. Let's move on to 2024 highlights. So I've kind of got a little guide here, so I think I'll go off that. And I will leave some room at the top. I'll just do it now. To write 2024 highlights. I will use this stamp. It's still very new, so I feel like it's still very dark. Do I write 2024 highlights or 2024 in pictures? 2024 highlights, I think. 20. Okay, that's fine. Something's going on. That's not alphabetical order. That's all right. So it was quite difficult to choose photos that I felt like on one hand best represented the year, but also just my favorite memories. So there is a mix of both. And of course, I'm a little bit at the mercy of the recency bias where the later memories are more exciting. But here's what I've got. Two travel pictures. I think the very first one is, oh no, this would be the first one. there's multiple memories attached to this photo. Like, not only did we go to a rooftop bar, we as in my husband and I, it was a lovely day. I had such a lovely meal. I was craving this cold glass of white wine. It was just perfect. But we were also there for a wedding and a family gathering, and it was really lovely. And yeah, so that's my very first memory. And I'm going to stick that down. Ah. I'm kind of using the photos behind it as a guide. This next memory is a photo that makes me laugh. There's an Easter show that happens annually, and it's for families, but my husband and I like to go. Mostly I just really love to go. It's just a fun time. The ticket prices are getting really expensive, but it's just fun. And so I wanted a goat selfie, but this photo is, again, not just about this particular moment, but all of the memories attached to that day, and it was just a really nice time. Definitely a highlight of my year. It just makes me laugh. The next one is the Kindle one, I think. Again, it doesn't have to be like perfect order. I feel like I'm missing a photo. No. Am I? No. Maybe next was Bali. I think next was Bali. Okay. My next highlight, I bought a Kindle. It is a very big highlight for me. This is my mini update. I'm still in love with my Kindle so much. I use it every single day. It is lovely. It's been on little trips with me. It's been on an international trip with me. It's been great. No complaints there. But definitely a big highlight of the year and very unexpected. I did not expect to get a Kindle this year. And the next highlight is just a simple selfie from Bali, from this cafe that we had a great time in. But the photo just represents our trip, our entire time in Bali. Because it was such a good trip and it was our first time there together. I've been there a few times, but never with my husband before. And then the next memory kind of represents multiple things again. Not only was this a really lovely moment catching up with a friend, meeting her for the first time. She's from the US, but this photo to me also represents friendship and genuine connection and feeling safe around people, and just my gratitude for the friendships that I have developed this year and all of the lessons that I've learnt, and how far I've come with being more myself and trying to be less of a people pleaser, and making space for myself in friendships, and just showing up. It was a really, really lovely memory. Really fun memories from this day. But yeah, this photo also represents so much more than just that amazing day. And so if you're watching, then I know you know that memory. But the next memory is a photo of my husband taken in front of Suzuka Circuit. He is a huge car fan. He has loved cars his entire life, not just, the aesthetics of cars, but the mechanics of cars as well. He's very much into how the car engine works. He loves working on his own car. But anyway, I surprised him with this trip to Suzuka Circuit, a hotel stay there, and we were able to walk into the, I'm using it the wrong way. No. This photo is, I feel like it just broke something. I definitely broke something. What am I doing? This photo represents our trip, but also the surprise, and it was a lovely trip. If you've watched my videos before, you know that I have a deep love for Japan. the language, the food, and my husband does as well, so it's very special for the both of us. I really don't think this is straight, but that's fine. This next photo is also representing what is going on here. This feels so strange, guys. I feel like I'm using it so, like, is this meant to come off? Like, why is this here? What is this guard for? Anyway, this photo represents friendship as well, but two friendships in particular, and that is Dear Bambino Art and Kieran from Kieran Barclay, who is my admin as well. Both of them are longtime friends and patrons. I'm very, very lucky and grateful for that. But this was made, I got to give you a close-up because it's just too good. So this clay figure was made by Bambi, who is just ridiculously talented, and she made Herbie in clay form, so he has interchangeable hands and you can swap him out with different things, and it was just so thoughtful. It was such a nice surprise, and I did not expect it at all. And this little capybara crochet thing keychain is something that Kieran bought me as a little gift for my birthday, which meant so much to me. And yeah, I just thought them side by side was really special. It was really cute. They arrived around the same time, so that is a very lovely memory for me as well. And the very last thing is something that happened very recently, but I feel like it's kind of the perfect end to the year, which is sparklers that we used at a family party, at my husband's family party, and I just had a really lovely time, a really lovely night, and I have fond memories of it. Again, it only just happened like last week, but yeah, I feel like that kind of represents the entire year for me. There is something going on with my glue tape. It does not feel right. I definitely broke something. I mean, why? Why was that there? I guess it was the design, but it kind of works better without it, so I will leave it like that for now. Whoops. This is not my usual glue tape, by the way. I usually use the Kokuyo one, but this is the Tombow Pit one. And I kind of like the design of this one better, but so far I don't like the feel of it. The grip of it does not, I don't know, doesn't fit as nicely in my little hands. And that is, well, those are my highlights for 2024. Again, I'm going to write some words underneath about what those memories are, because I feel like it looks a little bit less empty like that. Okay, I'm super happy with how that turned out, actually. That's not how I imagined it. I think I thought I would be a little bit more creative with the layout and collage it and just, I don't know, I definitely didn't. I don't think I can be bothered going through that effort. So just sticking to a very simple layout. This is the first time that I've ever done something like this. And I was meant to go over 2 pages, but I am happy just keeping it to this. And I can't wait to do this for 2025. This is lovely. I really enjoyed that. Okay, so now that I've done those 2 things, I'm going to do my favorite books. So initially, I kept changing the number, but it was top 16 favorite books. And then because I wanted to like use the same layout This is all layout based, by the way, and then I dropped down to top 9 favorite books, and then eventually I was like top 6. Honestly, top 6 favorite books is more than plenty. So here we go. Here is the final top 6 books. Okay, it's in no particular order. I think mostly in just the order that I read it in, but I'm not great at reviewing books. I feel like I don't really have the language to articulate exactly like the themes of a book, but what I can tell you about these choices is that it is not even my top rated books of the year, because I feel like my ratings tend to be a little bit more objective, and then my selections here are more emotional. So again, some of these books aren't 5 stars, but are they still my favorite of the year? Yes. So these are my emotional picks. These are the ones that I feel have lingered with me, have left an impact that I felt like was really significant or meaningful, or just gripped me in a way. Like it was surprising, it was engaging, it was just different. So multiple reasons, and I feel like it covers a few different genres. Surprisingly, no non-fiction. There were some great non-fiction reads, but I love my fiction too much. So starting off with A Spell of Good Things, and unfortunately I will not be able to pronounce that, but this book broke my heart. I read this at the beginning of the year. I believe it was here. So it was the 7th book in between. It was the 7th book that I read this year, and it still ended up in my top 6, which means, it's not just recency bias. It had such an impact on me. I was gripped the entire way, and it broke my heart. But basically, let me give you a really simple review. It's just about how lives are intertwined, how small decisions can lead to drastic consequences, how, there's differences and similarities between class lines, the contrast between poverty and, the upper middle class, and politics and family, and there's just so much in this book, and I am so emotional thinking about it, because this book really moved me, and I feel like for that emotional response alone, sorry, this glue tape is really confusing me. For that response alone, for that memory that I have of it, it had to go in here. This was like not up for debate. Sorry, I'm really struggling with this glue tape. I'm so confused. But let me get another one to... How am I doing this? Like this? Like that? Or do I do 3? 3. Ooh, I don't know. No, I do 3. Okay, wait. Okay, it's kind of easy to peel up, so I will just place it down. The next book, these are kind of towards the end of the year, so Immortal Longings is next. When did I read that? In the beginning-ish sometime. So I have seen a lot of people hate this book, but I really enjoyed this book. I actually really like Chloe Gong's writing. So this is Immortal Longings by Chloe Gong. I've read These Violent Delights. I said that weird. These Violent Delights, which is her other, I think it's young adult. And I enjoyed it because I enjoyed her writing, but I didn't particularly love it. And I didn't continue that series, but I was captivated by her writing and the way she writes her female characters, her female main character, that I was really intrigued to read this. And this was an adult book. And it's kind of this like dystopian and I'm a sucker for dystopian sci-fi fantasy. And the only thing I wasn't sure about with this book, like I was hesitant about, was the trials, like the game concept, because I'm not a big fan of like like, I haven't read Hunger Games, but that kind of trope in books, like Powerless had like a game trials trope, and I really don't like it. But I loved the way it was executed in this book. I loved the characters, and again, to each their own. I personally loved the characters. I loved how they were portrayed. I really found the female main character really refreshing. Not really relatable, but really refreshing and really different. And I appreciate the way she gives her female characters this just unexpected twist of not being, I don't know, just very different from your typical female characters. And so I really appreciated that. But it was definitely like a slow start, slow burn, and then the rest of the book just quickly picked up. But I just had such a good time with that book that I had to include it. Oh no, I put it way too high. Wait, okay, no, that's too high. That needs to go lower. And then the next book, I guess we'll put this one. I'll start talking about the next book. But the next book is This Is How You Lose the Time War by, I'm going to say this wrong, Amal El Mortar and Max Gladstone, I think. I'm so sorry. But I know that you've probably heard of this book. I'm so surprised that I, one, liked the book, loved the book actually, but also that it made it to my favorites list. I did not expect that whatsoever. But this book was just so beautiful. I can't explain why well, and I'm just still so surprised at myself how much I loved it and how much it had, nope, doing it wrong again, how much it had an impact on me. But it was just so sweet and creative. It's not a new concept by any means, but there was something still so original and refreshing about it, and I can't explain it other than it was just so sweet and lovely and funny. I just really enjoyed it. So for that emotional response, it is getting a spot in my top 6, which is a big role. It's a big role. I'm still surprised myself every time I see it, but I really did not expect to go in liking it because the premise of it sounded interesting and I actually didn't plan on reading it. I think 2 different people, like one person said they didn't like it and the second person said they liked it, and because of that I reconsidered it, and I'm so glad I did. But it's lovely. It's also kind of a sci-fi set in like a future world. I don't want to spoil anything, but it follows 2 agents that are writing to each other, and you know, they start off as enemies, and you just see their relationship progress, and it's lovely. It's beautiful and poetic and just really beautiful in a also very like unpretentious way. There's just something so sweet and pure about it. But I feel like a lot of these books aren't for everyone, and some of them are a little bit controversial. Like I've seen people not like these books. But again, to each their own. Blighted Stars has to go last, I think. Okay, so Babel or Babel, depending on how you say it. The author does say Babel, but, you know, the historical word is Babel, I believe, or so I was told. I will not do this book justice. This book, I think if I had to choose one out of all of this might be it. Babel, my God, my heart. I adored this book every step of the way. Not like, don't go into this expecting a fantasy, because I think if you go in with any sort of expectations, I think you will be disappointed, because I think people mostly that enjoy strong magic systems and fantasy won't enjoy this book, because that really was not what the book was about, even though it sounds like it. To me, there's some, you know, really, it tackles some big themes on like racism and colonialism and just privilege and the complexities of relationships and friendships, and I think it was masterfully done. I was just so moved by everything. Like, I can't even begin to explain how much this book made me feel seen. So for that reason alone, on top of all of the other reasons why I love this book. Like, I thought the magic system was really creative. Is it the most detailed, well-explained magic system? No, because really that's not the point of it, considering the history that it goes through. And I'm not a big history buff. Anyway, I don't need to justify it. I felt like it was a beautiful book. I also did not expect to like this book, because it is one of those like fairly hyped books, not overhyped, but fairly hyped books that, I didn't know what to expect, but I didn't expect for it to have such an emotional impact on me. And I loved the writing. I loved how subtle but not so subtle the book like tackled certain themes, and it was tongue-in-cheek but also in your face and realistic and sad and heartbreaking, and makes you just question a lot of things. I think it explored like the human condition and ethics and morals really, really well, but like there's that layer of history and colonialism as well, but like with a twist on it. I just thought it was so creative. I really, really enjoyed it, but it was certainly a heavy book, and I absolutely bawled my eyes out while reading it. The next book, Station 11. I was so surprised by this book as well, how much I loved it. I found a thrifted copy at a local thrift store, and I was so happy to have that. But all I knew about this going in was that it was eerily similar to COVID-19, like the situation, the lockdown and everything. So that alone made it this like really creepy foreshadowing read to read like after the fact, and like how it could have gotten so much worse, how it could have escalated into this entire like world destroying thing. So this kind of takes it to the extreme, but this book is so much more than that to me. I really loved this book for its really quiet exploration of human emotions and just the way these people are trying to survive the world, and not necessarily because it's in a post-apocalyptic, like, is that even the right term to use? Is it post? Not really, but it's just this like they're trying to survive in this new era where things are not the same. You know, there's no more water, there's no more electricity, like everything looks different, and it's not about them trying to survive that context necessarily, but just like how are they reestablishing their identities and like who they are in relation to each other, and just everyone's stories are intertwined, which is, I'm a sucker for intertwined stories, intertwined plots, things coming back together, because there's just so much foresight that the author needs and so much planning that the author needs in order to make that happen. And so I'm a big fan of intertwined like plots, multiple narratives. I'm a fan of things coming back full circle, which I am realizing, oh no, that all 6 of these books share in common. I think they all share at least almost all of them, like 90% of those themes, intertwined stories, stories coming full circle back to the beginning. So it feels, I guess, I just like closure, I guess. 3, there's an exploration of morals or just something about the human condition, very simple stories. And what was the 4th one that I said? I guess that's mostly it, but like that's interesting. There is a pattern amongst them, even though the genres are quite different. They all explore similar themes, and I guess that's just showing the kind of books that I like and that I am drawn to. But this last book, The Blighted Stars, this represents the series to me. So it's a trilogy, and I devoured this trilogy and I loved it so much. I got so invested in the characters and the plot, and like it went so deep. And I think for me, very rarely do I feel so involved with the characters, especially when it's like a fantasy kind of plot as well. With contemporary, it feels a little bit more realistic. With fantasy, for me, I don't know. I'm just talking out loud here. I have no idea, but this series was fun, but it was so intense. It explored some really complex themes as well. It was so refreshing in so many ways. I just loved this series so much. The entire series, book 1, 2, and 3. Rarely does the entire series like all match up. Like I feel like it tends to drop off, but yeah, I just had so much fun with all of these books, and I hope you can hear it in my voice how much these books mean to me. And of course, it's okay if you read these and hated these books. That's the power of reading, how subjective it is, and how much it really depends on our own personal experiences and own personal, I guess, personality and things that we're drawn to in books. Because if you prefer, let's say, a strong magic system over maybe the exploration of the human condition and ethics, then maybe you wouldn't like this book so much, and that's okay. And there just needs to be a constant reinforcement that it's all so personal. It is extremely personal. We live such varied lives. We've had such incredibly different childhoods where we've grown up. Like, all of that comes into play. All of those unique things come into play. And we're such different people, so of course we're going to like such different books. So that needs to be said. Let's bring a bit more kindness back into the book community, because yeah, just some of the comments I see are really disheartening and disappointing. Oh no, that's such a big gap. Why? Okay, that's fine. I will put no, I won't. I was gonna say I was gonna put book ratings, but I won't. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter about the ratings. It does here because that's just for my reference, but here it's just my favorite. This is an emotional choice. So those are my top 6 books of the year. And what I'm going to do now to finish this 2024 planner, because that's basically it, is I'm going to read my letter. I'm going to read it slightly off camera because I don't remember what I wrote, but I do believe it was a little personal. So I'm going to read that off camera, and maybe you can get my auditory reactions to it. If it's not too personal, I will read it out. Okay, wait, let me read the first sentence. It says, "Hey future Jess, it's currently 4:20 p.m. on Friday, January 5th. I'm currently reading this on January 8th, so not too far off." Oh no, there are so many things that I'm saying in here, like, I hope your desk was clean. How did your study course go? Which, spoiler alert, I deferred, so I actually quit that. But this is so funny. Okay, so I can kind of show you the bottom half. The first half of the letter, I was mostly just like waffling on about goals. Like, I hope you did this, I hope you did this, which most of it, no, I did not, which is okay. But at the end, I said, most importantly, I hope you really took up space this year. I hope you are more calm and confident than you've ever been. I hope you surprised yourself. Randomly, I hope you earned enough money to get your hair done finally. I didn't. And then I hope you are so proud of yourself. Oh, thank you, past Jess. That was really lovely. A lot of wishful thinking in there, and I didn't achieve everything, but that was kind of nice to read. I'm actually really glad I did that, because you could see that my concern was, I said in the beginning, like, did you get better at saying no? Did you get better at setting boundaries? And I really do think I made a lot of progress with that, and that was my theme for 2024, to take up space. And it was a journey. There were a lot of tough lessons, a lot of situations I had to be in to learn. It was a challenge that I had to push through, but I do think that I learned a lot, and I do think that this really represents my year. Apart from the clean desk, that will be a forever struggle. But that's all I really wanted to do for this planner. That's how I'm closing it out. I guess, like, we could go over the goals, but I will go over that when I do the 2025 planner. It's currently 4 p.m, so we're running out of time a little bit. I mean, I'm losing light mostly, and this took longer than expected. So I'm going to be back tomorrow with the 2025 planner. I mean, I don't need to say this. Editing magic. You're going to see it in a few seconds. But I will be back tomorrow with 2025's planner. I will have the vision board. I will write the letter to myself. I will write down my goals. I'll share my goals with you and just kind of walk through, my intentions for the year. I will see you tomorrow, but for you, it'll be just a few seconds. I am back the next day wearing the same jumper, so it looks consistent, but today we are going to tackle the 2025 setup portion of the video. I have done some preparation this morning, and so we're going to get straight into it. I do have a little kind of checklist here, so to make sure that I'm staying on track. But I'm going to start with the letter to self, the vision board, the goals and intentions for 2025, and then if we've got time, then a Q1 plan. So for the letter to self, the previous year I wrote it on, I think, scrap paper. Yes, and then I just put it in a scrap envelope. I think this year, I'm not, attached to that particular setup of it. I have this scrap piece of paper that I took out of my previous notebook, and I don't know, I'm kind of feeling it. So what I'm thinking is I'll just write one page this time and just fold it up like so. And then I was thinking of not sealing it, but kind of sealing it. Maybe I will seal it with something like this. And then it says do not open until the end of the year. Let me try to, I guess here. I'm just guessing. I'm going to write do not open until 2026. Yeah, that makes sense, right? Do I want brown ink? Yes. Do not, oh, this looks like it's bleeding through. Do not open. Okay, this paper is not liking the fountain pen, but that's okay. You can't even tell that it's brown, but once I write in it, then I will seal it up like so. Just to add a little something, but I guess I'm going to write it now. I don't think it's going to be so personal that you can't see it. I don't think I have anything to hide, so I'm going to just write that now on camera and probably speed that up a little bit, or we'll be here forever. I have no idea what I'm going to write. I'm going to use my brown fountain pen ink. It's just going to be a little nice message to myself, probably the same things. I hope you showed up this year. I hope you were able to set boundaries and take up space and all that stuff. So just a little encouragement to my future self. Okay, so that didn't take too long. I was just kind of rambling and writing whatever came to mind. I basically said, I hope you had fun. I hope it's okay if you feel a little bit stressed. I said that I also felt stressed at the beginning of the new year. I said, are you in a new place? Because I know we're currently possibly planning to move to a new place. I mentioned the markets. I gave myself some little encouragement for keeping my desk clean and decluttered. And at the end is just some encouragement about boundaries, protecting my peace, just all that typical stuff. So that is my letter done. I'm going to stick that in now. I was kind of not dreading it, but I was worried because I didn't know. Is this the right way? Yes. I just didn't know what to write. I really didn't plan it at all. And I didn't know how long it would take, but I'm going to glue this completely down. Just checking it's the right way. Yes. And so I can still open it like this and read it, but it's in there. And then we're going to take this thing and I guess glue it the entire way. It's not a strong seal, so it's not going to keep me out, but I did well. I didn't read it at all. This year's letter, is this crooked? That's fine. Okay. I like that. That's really cute. I'm happy with that. So that is a letter to self. Oh no, the corners. The vision board. I have prepped this, of course, already, and I printed it off. I printed it on I printed this calendar wrong, and so I just printed on that on the back of it, and that is what my vision board, mood board, whatever theme, manifestation board for this year. It is not too different from what I usually do. I always gravitate towards the same pictures, but I just want to show you what last year's one looks like. Again, about the same. Notebooks, books, reading, clean desk, and coffee. It was a bit more about travel last year, but this year I'm not planning on traveling. And I just threw in a random yoga picture because I used to do yoga like regularly a few years ago. And I was super flexible. I mean, I did gymnastics when I was younger as well, but I think I would like to add yoga back into my routine, like at least once every 2 weeks, I think, because it's not really exercise. It is a form of exercise, but for me, it's more a kind of mind clearing practice. Like I feel so calm and collected afterwards, and yes, it's a benefit of being stronger afterwards as well, but for me it's a bit more of a calmness meditation thing. So I would like to add some yoga back. I'm struggling with this glue tape. I feel like the angle is just really strange. So I just put this together with photos from Pinterest, and I put it together on Canva. I just rearranged it. Initially I had 3 columns of photos, but it was looking too messy, and I'm super glad I went back down to 2 because yeah, it would have been really small. So I think definitely 2 columns works really well. But that is what my letter to self, letter to future self, and vision board for 2025 looks like. My theme for this year is unapologetic, and it would have been nice to put that in there, but I didn't really have room, so I put my theme take up space in here. But I think I'll write it in my intentions page, or maybe just here, unapologetic. I can just stamp my theme. I'm really happy with that. So just a quick explanation of what this mood board means to me. To me, this represents really quiet, simple, slow moments. I really enjoy just the peace that comes with slow living. There's a bit of, motivation in there to rest, to keep my desk clean, to continue to make time to journal. I mean, I don't need that encouragement. I just really like the vibes of these photos. And this slow mornings, healthy boundaries, nature, nourishing meals, journaling. There's a bit more, I think, maybe not more, but there's an emphasis on slowing down and just embracing the day-to-day life. There's a big book picture here because of one of my goals, which you will soon see, is to tackle some big books and classics that I don't naturally gravitate towards. If anything, I kind of run away from them because I find the really long books, like 700 to 1,000 pages, quite intimidating. But that is something I do want to tackle this year. But yeah, that is my vision board. And then, oh no, you can see the calendar in the back. That's okay. You can see 2023 upside down there. So I have prepped, of course, my goals and intentions. This is way too many lines, by the way, so I'm not going to fill it all up, but I have prepped it in my notes journal. This is my goals and this is my intentions. I kind of roughly just wrote it all out, so I might not follow this exactly, but I'll go off this. So I'm going to use my brown, actually I thought it was running out, but there's still some left. I'm going to use my brown fountain pen ink, the same one as in this, but I think this paper will hold up a lot nicer. So my first big goal is my zine project. It's going to be almost a year since I started that. I just really want to tackle that this year. That is my biggest goal. So I'm just trying to think of what bullet point I put here. Maybe just a dot asterisk dot point. Maybe a dot point. Okay. To my younger self, zine. I really would like to finish that and get that printed this year. I want that zine done. It is important to me, and I really cannot delay it anymore. The next goal is Happy Mail. I'm unsure about this because it's going to happen regardless or not whether I put it down. So I don't think I need to write it down as a goal. It's happening, so I don't think it's a goal. The next thing is 5 unplanned podcast episodes. I wrote that down last year, but I don't think I actually achieved that. I think I maybe did 2, but 5 unplanned podcast. I have been wanting to record more episodes. It's just a matter of overcoming that. Oh, I'll pull the microphone a little bit closer. It's just a matter of overcoming that fear and imperfection always, that self-doubt, imposter syndrome always, which is important for me to show up and tell you about because I know other people are struggling with really similar feelings on their business journey. And so I just want you to be with me on this journey. I just want to be there with you and share all these things with you so you don't feel alone. I want to normalize these feelings and normalize pushing through them as well. It's okay to feel these things and it's okay to keep going. So, it's important to me. These 2 projects are really important to me. The next thing is a Sydney journaling workshop. So I had 2 Melbourne workshops, journaling workshops last year, and they did really well. I loved it so much more than I thought I would. It was terrifying. So it was something that I had to really push through, but they were in Melbourne. So I would really like to do one in Sydney this year, even though I am still terrified at the thought of it. Digital PET tape. So I have PET tape, but there's a different way of printing it, and I think you have a longer loop as well, so I think I will try that this year when my current stock of PET tape runs out. So digital PET tape, I will have to work on the design so that because the loop length is longer. New washi / PET tape potentially. I don't know which one yet, so I'm just writing both. Outsource vinyl stickers. So I did try outsourcing vinyl stickers last year. It was a bit of a fail because I got it printed with Stickeroo, I think, but the colors were not right, and I didn't like their customer service. I felt like they just kind of ignored it. They didn't acknowledge that it was a problem. They were like, nope, that's just how it is. And I was like, well, I can't trust you to print the rest of my stickers if you can't even get this simple color correct. It wasn't even, do I even have it here? I think I have it here. It wasn't a complex thing. It was this Herbie sticker. The quality is great, but the color is off. It's too orange. This is what he's meant to look like. And I just wanted it a little bit closer because I didn't want it orange, and they didn't really give me a solution at all. They were like, we can't help that. That's just how it is. So I wasn't happy with that experience. So I'm going to try Sticker App next. I think for me, it's a combination of its price, but quality as well. So I'm willing to shop around a little bit to find, but I would like to this year kind of ease the burden off myself from hand making everything. And I would like to, one of those things is to outsource vinyl stickers and in the future sticker sheets. But for now, I think vinyl stickers, because I want it to be a bit more waterproof as well, because mine aren't dishwasher safe. They are splash proof, but I wouldn't necessarily run them underwater, and I don't know how well they hold up with high touch areas. Anyway, what a ramble. So next thing is outsource vinyl stickers and try a new supplier. And then we go into the side. This one just says reduce receipt stash, which is a forever goal. I will put that at the end because it's quite personal. I think studio tour, I feel like I've been not promising, but mentioning that I will do it. And I haven't gotten around to it because my studio is always messy and it's not interesting to see. It doesn't need to be perfect, but I just would like it to have somewhat organized in the way that I want it before I do a studio tour. And now I'm about to move. So, maybe once I move into the new studio, that's a good opportunity to do a studio tour because it's fresh, it's clean. I can talk about my plans for the studio. So that's what I'm thinking. It might be more feasible once I move into the new place. The next thing is rubber stamp potentially. That's just a maybe goal. All of these goals are just like nice to have. It's no big deal if none of them gets done except for this one. I really need to get that one done. But apart from that, these are just, little stretch goals, little fun things that I can aim for. I lost my train of thought. So rubber stamp, and then onto the personal goals. Continue Japanese studies just in any form or capacity because I don't have another Japan trip lined up, which usually really motivates me to, study because I'm excited for the trip. But I would like to continue it even though I'm not planning at this stage to go to Japan this year. I made a really good progress with my studies last year and I just want to keep that going. I don't want to forget anything. And then read 10 classics / let's make it 12. Let's keep it to 10. Oops, I wrote it wrong. Classics / big books. So I'm putting them in the same category. That's my only reading goal this year. Last year, I set myself a really arbitrary goal of reading 60 books. I ended up reading 127. It really doesn't mean anything, but I think instead of a quantitative goal, I want to set just a particular goal of reading classic books and big books. I put them in the same category again because those are just kind of equally intimidating for me. It just requires some commitment. It's not like I'm super looking forward to it, so it's super easy to read. Other books, other genres are very easy for me to read. This one just requires a bit more commitment, a bit more of a goal setting kind of mindset. So I'm currently reading Crime and Punishment, which I consider one of the classics, and I'm also reading Meditations by Marcus Aurelius, so I also consider that a classic. So that's kind of what I mean. If there's like a Penguin classic version of it, like I've got The Count of Monte Cristo on my shelf, that would be another one. I've got some Agatha Christie books. Maybe those don't really count. Those seem fun, so maybe not a classic. But in terms of big books, I would like to tackle some Brandon Sanderson books this year, some Robin Hobb. There's a few other ones that I can't think of, but books like that are long. I can't say for sure whether or not I will like it. I find them very intimidating because of the really big, loyal, intense fan base. Anything with a big fan base always scares me because I don't want to say publicly that I liked a part or didn't like a part because, yeah, it can get really intense. So I'm scared. All of those things are really intimidating. So for my goal this year, my reading goal is just to tackle 10 classics and big books. And then, am I missing something? Oh, my receipt stash. To not use up because there's no way I'm going to use it up in 1 year, but reduce receipt and scrap paper stash. Just keep chipping away at it. I already feel like I've made really good progress on that. I think that's all for goals. So that's a lot. If you notice, this year I did not put any subscriber goals. I did it last year. I didn't hit them except for the patrons one, but I think it's a little arbitrary. I don't like the feel of setting those goals, not because it gives me any sort of pressure. That doesn't really affect me. I just don't like focusing on that. As long as I, focus on the easier things to control, like posting on YouTube once a week, I feel like those are much more sustainable and healthy goals than trying to reach an arbitrary subscriber count kind of thing. So I don't like that focus for me personally, but I just noticed I did write down 10 pull-ups, which I didn't reach. I actually got 1.5 and then I got sick and then I stopped training pull-ups and now I'm back to half a pull-up, which is still a big improvement compared to where I started, but maybe I'll add 10 pull-ups back to, let's do it, why not? Let's hold myself accountable. 10 pull-ups. Okay, so those are my goals. Do I want to add stickers? Nah, it's fine. Let's go to intentions. So intentions, just a quick explainer again, it's similar to goals, but it's not really something you can tick off. It's more like a guiding, this is how I want my year to feel, this is how I want to approach my year. It's just kind of a mindset and perspective shift. So, for example, like I wrote here, unapologetic, because that's my theme for the year. Simplify, slower nights and weekends, because I'm currently working through the nights and weekends, which I feel like is not ideal for me. I would like to ease off and, relax and enjoy my weekends a little bit more. Clean and calm house, a place for everything, clean and tidy desk, shift focus to YouTube, weekly resets, protecting my peace, not laughing off disrespect, which is a big one for me, not allowing people to shame me, which is tied to my theme for unapologetic, and letting go with grace, letting go of the anger. And yeah, so I think I will write all of that down. But let's go here. Clean and calm house. Yes. I won't write the theme because I think maybe I'll write it up here. I'll write it at the front, maybe. Clean and calm house. I think simplify. Oh, wait, these don't need to be bullet points. These are not tasks. These are points. Slower nights. And weekends. A place for everything. Very Marie Kondo philosophy. I'll focus on the personal ones for now, not the shift focus to YouTube. Protecting my peace. And energy. Letting go. I'm shuffling them around for no good reason, just based on what I feel I like right now. Letting go with grace. Not laughing off disrespect. And not allowing people to shame me. Like caveat, disclaimer, only when I don't deserve to be shamed. I am all for being called out if I am wrong or have a narrow, perspective, but in terms of things that, being too sensitive, like being shamed for being too sensitive, for caring too much, for overthinking something, like that's me. I don't want to feel shame about that. Again, unapologetic this year. And so it all comes down to like really embracing that, like all sides of myself, all facets of myself, so that it's kind of untouchable. Like people can't make me question myself and make me hate myself for like how I am. Like I want to love myself for these little things, feeling pride instead of shame. So I'm going to write here in capitals, unapologetic. Oh, I forgot the I. No, I always do that. My brain just like skips a letter. Okay, unapologetic. What goal did I forget? Weekly resets. Yeah, so I do have like Sunday resets, but I don't think it kind of encompasses everything. I would like more of a digital reset in there to have a better system with updating journals so I don't build up too much of a backlog as well. So I guess, yeah, weekly resets, just working on that. Shifting focus to YouTube. I don't think that needs to be written down. I feel like that's kind of always in the back of my head. And that's it, really. I think that's it. Yes. Okay. Yes. So those are my goals and those are my intentions. No sticker for now. I might change my mind and put some like flower stickers on the bottom, but I kind of like how simple. Oh, I'm peeling that off. I'm liking how simple that looks. Let me glue this back down. So this is what we did today. And then the very last thing that I said I would do is the Q1 plan. This shouldn't be too hard because I am drawing from my goals. I just need to figure out what I want to do in the first 3 months. I always get the confused. Is it 3 months? Yeah, it's quarter, 3 months. So my 3 priorities for Q1. Well, top of my head, the zine. I absolutely want to get a zine out. So let's do to my younger self zine. I would like to get out at least one unplanned podcast ep. So this is from January to March. I think that's very possible. I think I'll be moving out kind of around March, and then I have a market end of February, so maybe a little tough time wise, but I'm tossing up between something about the Japanese studies, the classics, or the pull-ups. I think the pull-up. Let's go with, I was gonna write 1, but honestly I should challenge myself and make it a little bit tougher and go with 2 pull-ups by the end of March. It's very possible. I just need to commit to the actual pull-up training. 2 pull-ups. And that's it. That's all I can really do. And then achievements, highlights, I will fill out after the quarter, what I'm proud of and what needs work. But those are my 3 priorities. Maybe I can set January goals as well, because I haven't done that. Did I forget to do that? I did, in the plan with me. So my priorities for this month is happy mail, because it is the first month, so there's some new things that I have to set up. See, I always forget to use my clip. Happy mail. Do I write prep for market? I feel like that might be a February goal because the market is at the end of February. Oh yes, I know. I need to backlog 2024 journals. I want that all done by the end of the year. I forgot that I already set January goals, so I'm looking at my calendar right now. Oh yes, zine form, which is great because that is a step towards my Q1 goal of the zine, to get the form out at least. Okay, that is it. I think that brings us to the end of this setup video and the recap for 2024. Fairly simple. I hope that was easy to follow and it all made sense. I feel like this is the part that if I don't set time for, I tend to not do the recap part. Setting up and planning is fun. It's the recapping part that gets me. But I think it's just as important because you need to know where you've been and how you've progressed in order to know how to move forward. Otherwise, you're kind of moving forward blindly and not really evaluating what worked and what didn't work. So I highly recommend just setting aside some time to think about what you achieved last year and what you would like to do differently. Again, not an excuse to punish yourself. We have to do this gently and with grace, but be honest with ourselves. Don't punish yourself, but also don't lie to yourself. Be honest with yourself so that you can actually achieve the things you want to do. Be realistic. But that is it. I'm going to end on this page because it is the prettiest. But I hope you enjoyed this setup video. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for following this journey from when I cut down this journal. But I'm looking forward to updating this throughout the year much more consistently than I did the last journal. I love having it in my traveler's company notebook. I just love having it in here. I really like this size. And yeah, I hope you get the time to set up. I'm just going to do this for no reason. I hope you have the time to set up your new planners, take it easy, and do what works for you. There is no such thing as what you should be doing, only what works for you. And with that, I will leave you there. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!